Welcome to Moon Monkey. On this episode, we're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed, directed by Justin Kurzel.
So, Assassin's Creed, the video game movie, but will it be a good video game movie or a poor video game movie? It's a game that I really liked, so I'm quite I'm quite upset with this. Let's get it out of the way.
I haven't played the game, so I had very few expectations going into this.
Yeah, you're a bit lost already.
Yeah,
but essentially, Michael Fassbender's character, not a nice guy. You have a bit of a flashback, seeing his childhood, has a bit of trauma. He grows up, he's not a very nice guy, he's being quite violent, he's arrested, he's going to be put to death, things are not looking good, you're thinking this is going to be a very short movie. Michael Fassbender's immediately being executed, and we've not even started the popcorn. But he then wakes up after his alleged death in Abstergo, and he's being captured by the Templars, who are attempting to use his genetic memory through the Animus to find the Apple of Eden, which the Templars think will cure all the ills of humanity, but also let them control the world. So it's up to Michael Fassbender's character to either protect his history and his past and his heritage with the assassins, or help the Templars find the Apple of Eden.
Yeah.
That's essentially the movie.
Yeah, it was a pretty simple plot from the perspective of they were basically given a mission to go and find something or protect something from the Templars. That was essentially the driving point of the plot, which I pretty much picked up on. I could follow that much. The main thing that I found difficult with this film was that it seemed to think that it was more intelligent than it was. Like, they kept mentioning free will. But it was essentially the main kind of tension in the film is the struggle between free will versus authoritarianism, which is a kind of struggle that everyone's aware of. And it's been played out many times in films before. I mean, even the Star Wars film is like the Empire versus the Rebels. There's a lot of films where that dynamic's in play. So it's essentially you have the assassins are on the side of free will, I suppose, and the Templars are on the side of make an authoritarian world where there's no dissent, so therefore there's no violence, because everyone just follows orders, which is also not a positive thing. That's kind of the main positive I had for the film, was that they were attempting to do something which was kind of a grand theme like that, which I didn't expect. I did just think it was going to be a film about assassins being sent on missions to kill people. Yeah, and there was no higher.
I made you go to this, let's be honest. But it's I really like those games, especially the older ones. I've not played the latest one, but I think it captured a lot of the parts of the game that I really liked. Yeah. But there's the action scenes which were good in parts, but then there's too many cuts. Yeah. And then
that's one thing I found about the action scenes. Because of the cuts, it was really hard to remember a good action scene. If you think of films if you think of films with good action scenes, you kind of remember the scene and roughly where it was set and what happened and certain moments in it.
You can take it in.
Yeah, in this
you're what's going on?
Yeah, in this it's nothing was that memorable. Once it happened, you wouldn't recall that fight scene or what was happening in it.
The only bit was when they were being burned at the stake and the chase. There was moments in there that were alright, but again, it kind of got ruined by the amount of cuts. But also, the thing that ruined it for me slightly was there wasn't enough of the past when they went back and he was Aguilar, his ancestor. Yeah, there wasn't enough of that for me. There was too much in the present, and that didn't really do it for me. I mean, obviously, other good parts are the fact that it's got Jeremy Irons and Michael Fassbender, and I think Michael Fassbender was really into the idea of doing this movie. Because he maybe just really likes the game, I don't know. I just don't think it was that great a movie.
I just felt like the cast, you had Fassbender and Marion Cotillard, who were also in Macbeth, which was directed by Justin Kurzel as well.
Which we really liked.
Yeah, we liked that film, but in that film, they were given something to do. They were kind of stretched, because that film is a film about something, about the idea of betrayal and fate and destiny. But the ideas in it are explored by them, through the story. Whereas in this, it's they mention free will, but they never really gave you any example, or you never felt like the characters were really grappling with these concepts. They were just mentioning it as if to say, yeah, we understand these philosophical ideas, but we're not really going to deal with them in this film.
Well, a lot of it was more focused on Fassbender and his past.
Yeah.
With his father and his mother and stuff like that. It was more about him
I mean, I guess it suffers from the kind of thing that a lot of video game movies suffer from, which is...
being quite shit.
Yeah, when you're playing a video game, like, you're playing the game, so it's all about action and all about you doing something, less so than ideas, which are more... probably more common in kind of a book.
No, I think there's a lot of, like, big ideas within Assassin's Creed. I think if you go deep enough,
but
into
it
isn't just about jumping out.
But the issue I had was in the film they set up the idea that when he's in the Animus, he's essentially just watching his past. Like I didn't know the story. Like I didn't know if he was sent back in time and he was in that time, or if he was able to like change the past and affect the present or something like that. But in a sense, they explain no, he's just watching the past.
Living it.
So it essentially takes away all kind of tension. Obviously, in the games, there's a tension because you're trying to investigate it. But when you're watching a film, you can't affect anything.
But there's also the tension of, well, you can't affect the film when you're watching it.
You can't affect the film, but not only can you not affect the film...
Your most powerful mind.
Not only can you not affect it, but also Michael Fassbender's character cannot affect what he's watching in the Animus.
But you don't know what's going to happen. That's the suspense. You don't know what the character's
going
to do.
I guess
you don't
so.
know the past.
The other thing about the story that kind of upset me was, like you were saying, the burn at the stake scene, there's him and there's like his fellow assassin, the woman.
And his master.
Yeah. I just felt like there was no kind of emotional heart to this movie. Like, I never got the sense of characters who you were rooting for or you wanted to succeed. Whereas I thought, like, those two, they could have used as, like him being romantically involved.
Well, they hinted at that.
Yeah, they hinted at it, but then it never developed. And that was the one thing with this, like, there's not a lot of character development either. Like, you don't...
Well, I think that's the thing, too, when you're splitting it between the past and the present. You've got, like, two sets of eras to deal with, and it's tough to explore both unless you're really focusing on one.
Yeah.
Anything else? Bad? I'm sure you have.
Yeah, mostly kind of negatives. There wasn't a lot of like good things in the film. But I already mentioned this to you before, the way the Animus works, which you told me is not the same as it works in the game.
I'm pretty sure you just lie down and plug into it.
Yeah, all the way through the film I was just thinking, like, why don't they just use a similar system to the Matrix where you just plug into it and then you can see the past, which would have made more sense because they have him in this contraption where he's moving and doing fight moves, which is pointless because whatever Aguilar, the guy in the past, did has already done. So there's no... I kind of understood they're trying to get across the idea of like synchronicity, or it's like he's becoming one with the guy, but it's just kind of a weird contraption. I think it's a weird system.
I can see why they did it, but you're right, it's ridiculous. But cinematically, it's something for you to look at. Like, oh look, there's Michael Fassbender.
But it was kind of like they didn't necessarily even need to bring him back, like, to show you the present. Once he'd gone into the past to being Aguilar, they could have just showed you everything in the past and then had him come back and talk about, like, oh, that was, that experience. So that was one thing that I found kind of weird.
For me, there was no blood. He's an assassin, and I haven't seen anybody bleed. Nobody jumps into a cart full of hay off a building and lands in it. That's another big issue. It was quite slow to start in places, and maybe rushed, or maybe I don't know. I don't know if it was rushed at the start. It was definitely rushed at the end.
Yeah,
the build up was kind of, I don't know.
The ending of this film just comes out of nowhere. It just suddenly you think they're going to go off on an adventure, and then that's the end of the movie.
They really wrap up, and it could have been really good. That's what annoys me because there's really good stories within the games. And it could have been a really good movie, a really good franchise as well.
That seemed like the thing. It seemed like they hadn't worked on a decent story for this. All they thought was, so long as we put in the, like, him jumping off a building and the hidden knives and the Animus, like, so long as we reference things from the game, people are going to be happy. We don't really need to come up with a decent story.
They didn't really use a whole lot of other weapons as well, and they didn't really touch on a lot of the past characters. Which again, I thought they maybe could have used in the game. They could have maybe used like Altair or Ezio or Connor or whoever. You know, they could have used all those previous characters from other games that they didn't. Yeah. And I really like Assassin's Creed, and I wanted it to be really good, but it wasn't.
See, overall, I wouldn't recommend seeing this film unless you pick it up cheap on DVD and you're a fan of the games. Like, you just want to see what it was like.
Yeah, I mean that's like me. I mean, I'd heard a lot of bad stuff, but I still thought I'd go. I mean, I think it's something that if it's on the TV you'd watch, but again, you'd probably be doing other things in the background, which I'm really upset about. So let's just keep it brief, because this is hurting me to talk about something that I like so much.
Yeah.
So overall, not great, sadly.
Yeah.
Please try again and do better next time.
Oh, well, thanks for listening. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll be back soon with a review of Trainspotting 2.
Trainspotting 2, and then Hacksaw Ridge after that. We're giving you so much future information.